I'm here to talk to you about the humanization of brands and the future of brands. And it's a big, brands, we either love or hate them, but they're part of our life, right? So here's my premise today. I'm a grizzled old marketing guy. I've been around this a long time, and the future of brands that I see is freaking amazing. I've never seen it so good in my lifetime in this business. In 2 weeks, I'll be 69 years old. I've been at this for 47 years, worked on hundreds of brands, and the future is incredible. My frustration is I'm 69 years old. I'm not 29 and 39 like you. I don't have 25 years to make the most of this future. You do. So my goal is to impart some of my learnings and hopefully instill my passion in where this can go in you. So I'm going to talk to you about three things. First, the importance of humanization of brands and how it's raised the good to great bar to build brands today. Next, I believe humanization is moving rapidly to spiritualization of brands. And last but not least, the way to get there is by rediscovering the lost art of positioning in marketing today. So I'm going to talk, put your marketing heads, I'll do that. Now I'm going to give you a little look at the history of how I got here. And that's me in the middle. That's my employment picture from Benton & Bowles in 1965. I think you can tell a hell of a lot's changed over the last 47 years. But I've seen it all and done it all. In the other corner is a thing called asset-based thinking. I'm an asset-based thinker. I approach business and life through what's positive and working, not what's problematic and broken. I was lucky enough to meet a wonderful psychologist, Dr. Kathy Kramer, and we co-authored 3 books on that subject. The next thing is volunteering. I've been a volunteer for the American Heart Association for 10 years. Now I'm on their board, and it's taught me a whole new meaning of what mission means. And then I'm blessed. I'm privileged to be an adjunct professor at USC, in the Marshall School of Business. I'm in the classroom with the best and the brightest of the next generation every day. They're smart, they're savvy, they're principled, and they are expecting a hell of a lot from all of you. And then last is the mentors and people that I've met over the lifetime in this business. It's incredible what they've meant to me. And I think you can tell at my age, well, either my mentors are either all gone or on the golf course. So I've had to rediscover the whole notion of reverse mentoring and learning from younger people and what that can mean to me, especially in digital space. And I've been lucky. I've been embraced by people like Jeff, Chris Brogan, Liz Strauss, Brian Solis. They all taught me what they know, and I really am really grateful for them for doing that. So what I'm talking to you about is your curation of all of that over the years. And let me get started with where it means in terms of where the humanization has taken brands. Humanization has taken brands to something I call open book branding. That's where brands have got to be an open book. They've got to share everything with consumers and everybody involved with the brand. If you don't want to share it, don't do it. And that's quite different than the closed command and control way that brands have been built in the past. And that's a good thing, because open book branding leads to marketing at its best. Brands built on trust, transparency, and truth, and it's purpose, people, and passion behind the brands that drive it and that hang out with brands that drive it, that gets infused into the culture of companies. And culture, I believe, is the new marketing currency that's ahead of you. And I love what Tony Hsieh had to say about that, which was, culture is your brand. And the way to make the most of that is to get in touch with this, positioning. The positioning of brands is at the cornerstone of everything that happens in a business. The problem, that's the good news. The problem is it's at the cornerstone, and we tend to forget it, and it's become a lost art. Let me take you through the evolution of positioning. When I started, this was it. Rational, concrete. It was called the battle for the mind. Then that moved along to a more holistic view of the consumer, doing things that get emotionally bond with consumers. And then we got into capturing the heart, creating love marks. And that's where we are today. That's the cost of entry for a brand. And that's hard to do. You've got to live up to that every day. But where it's going is here. It's connecting the higher purpose of a brand, the spirit of a brand. That's where brands are going to transcend. And what that means is brands have got to get in touch with their soul. They've got to understand their soul. And they've got to use that as the connection point for consumers, and then live by it and live up to it every day. And that, as they say in Brooklyn, ain't easy. So you got to do positioning with purpose and soul, the real raison d'etre and reason that you're there. And that is hard to get to, but once you get there, it's fabulous. I learned a lot about soul from my partner, Kathy Kramer. And she's a psychologist. She works on leadership training. She's done great work. And she has a course that she teaches called Leading with Substance, Sizzle, and Soul. Substance, your assets, your knowledge, all that stuff. Sizzle is how you package it. Soul is why leaders are there and what they do. And what she found out over 20 years of research is that the importance of that is just the opposite of what people think. Soul, why it's important to you, why you're there, is 60% of a leader's effectiveness. You got to have the rest of it, but that's where the effectiveness lies. And since it is counterintuitive, where do we spend our time? On all the substance and sizzle, and we don't spend our time on soul. That is the same issue with brands today. Find your soul. And once you do, it'll be amazing. I've been inspired recently by some great work, a guy named Jim Stengel, ex-CMO of P&G. Get this book. It's terrific. It's called Grow. And he collaborated with Millward Brown. And what they did was they really identified the power of ideals as building a business, and how ideals drive great growth in companies, and how ideals unlock the code to 21st century business. And because I love this, what he says here, they enable life to influence business, and business to influence life. So what are ideals? The ideal is the brand's inspirational reason for being. It explains why the brand exists and what the impact is in the world. And when you put that down on paper, it is very hard. You got to do that in 10 words or 8 words. That is critical, but that is where it has to go. And what they did was they went back and looked at a 10-year study of hundreds of companies, and they put a metric on it about how these companies went to market and what their performance is. And he put together something called the Stengel 50. It's companies that range from Apple to Red Bull to Zappos. And they found that companies that are ideals driven and get it and take it to market perform in the marketplace on every measure by a ratio of 3 to 1 over companies that don't. I don't know about you, but that's a hell of an incentive to me. And I love what they did when they put a metric on it. And what Jim said too is ideals are not proprietary, but the way you bring it to the market is. That's where you make your mark, and that is positioning. And that is in how you go to the market, the mindset you take to the market. Here's a quote that I've heard in one of our AHA board meetings, which really delivers the mindset that I think you have to have. Run like a business, think and act like a not-for-profit. Think and act like a not-for-profit. That changes the whole way you look at mission and delivering mission. And that's a brand, it's a mission. And here's what we do. At the Heart Association, that's all we concentrate on. Because here's what we found. Mission creates meaning. Mission creates the meaning for what we do. Mission, when we deliver it, attracts advocates. It builds advocates. And that's what you want on your brand. And mission makes money. It's not the other way around. Money doesn't make mission. So that's a mindset that I think from a delivery point of view, we all have to take. So, ideals-driven business. Find it, create one, be one. Be great at open book branding. Don't run away from it, run to it. Spiritualization, find where your brand is going and take it there. Learn how to, and celebrate and learn how to teach and position with purpose and soul. Think and act like a not-for-profit when you go to marketplace. And if you're going to be a leader, lead with substance, sizzle, and soul. And don't forget the importance of soul. I'd like to give you a gift. Gift of asset-based thinking. Kathy Kramer and I took our book, which is a great book, visual as heck and nice, and we created an iPad app. It's fully enhanced. It takes the best of the digital age. I'd like to give you that book. Email me or DM me your email address. You have to have an iPad, unfortunately. Doesn't everybody have an iPad? And I will send it to you. I think it'll help you in the way you look at developing your brands. And then the other thing I'd like to do is just leave you with a final thought. We are empowered with so many wonderful things that digital and technology have given us. And the one thing that I've really come to realize in my dotage is that all of that's only as good as the idea that you deliver to the marketplace and the people that use those tools. And there was a great guy that, excuse me, I worked with way early on in my career named Bill Birnbach at the Old Inn in Birnbach. And he had this quote. Whoops, where is it? An idea can turn to dust or magic depending upon the people that rub against it. The people that rub against it. So if you want to build a great brand in the future, follow what I talked about. But also, be a magician. Hire a magician. Surround yourself with magicians. Sleep with magicians. Be a magician. Get people around you that are going to draw the magic out of your business and your brand. And I know when you do, you all will create great brands in the future. Do it. Be magicians. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.